Ruffle Cookies. Ruffle Cookies. Roll on the floor laughing cookies. Says, ever since I was a kid, I've loved makers, watching makers work their magic on TV. Before Mythbusters, I used to love watching Norm Abram, you and me both, on the Yankee Workshop. Were there any public figure makers that you looked up to or drew inspiration from when you were growing up? Yeah, absolutely. Bob Ross and Norm Abrams, 100%, early Bob Ross. The Woodwright Shop. No, sorry. Bob Ross threw his whole thing. Excuse me. Bob Vila, early Bob Vila. Lifetime Bob Ross. The Woodwright Shop, absolutely. I loved that the Woodwright Shop would like lacerate himself almost every other episode. Never. That was like a hug. It really was like a hug. Just fantastic. Okay, that one. There's something. Oh, yeah. Brindamere asks, in one of your recent live streams, you talk about Rumpelstiltskin tools. Yeah, I like using the word Rumpelstiltskin a lot because making often requires you to find things in industries that aren't adjacent to yours. And it can be really hard unless you know its name. But once you know the name of the thing you're looking for, it's trivial. And my favorite story about this was I was trying to find these little pill bottles for Major Kong's survival kit from Dr. Strangelove, and it took me years until I read a blog about bottle collecting, discovered how bottles were taxonomized, found the lip of the bottle that I was trying to replicate, named it and its size, because I already knew it was a 1 gram bottle, and tens of thousands of them appeared in my Google search. So that's why I call that search Rumpelstiltskin. Once you know the name of the thing, you've broken its spell. They want to know if I have any more gems of Rumpelstiltskin knowledge. Oh, they're bringing up that one of my Rumpelstiltskin tools is a Forstner bit. This is a Forstner bit. These are spectacular bits that, again, the reason I like telling people about them is they don't show up in your normal course of like being at the hardware store buying tools to cut and shape wood with. These are sort of like one of those tools someone has to tell you about. So I'm here to tell you about these large diameter hole cutters in 16th increments, starting at I think like a 1/4 inch, going up to, I think I've got one that's 3.5 inches in diameter. They make beautiful milled sides, and you can do some fairly impressive rudimentary milling on a drill press using these if you're clamped and measured well. But they want to know if I have any other Rumpelstiltskin tools. And I do. This humble little set of metal rods. These metal rods are something machinists use every single day, and they're spectacular for shop practice. They're called transfer punches, and they are a rod of solid metal, usually mild steel. They have a pinpoint on one end and a flat on the other. And what you do with them is, let's say this rack, instead of being 2 holes and a base, let's say these are 2 pieces of material, and I want to put a hole in this 3rd piece of material that matches the position of these 2. I take the tippy sharp point, I put it through the holes, and I come here and I give it a little rap with a hammer, and it gives me a center punch. These are called transfer punches because they transfer a hole center from one piece of material to the one below it. And they come in, again, 16th inch increments. You can get these metric, You can get these metric or imperial. And this set goes from, what's that, probably, I can't even read that, 3/32 all the way up to 1/2 inch. And then I've got 1/2 inch to 3/4 over there. I rarely use those, but these aren't that expensive. You can buy these from Harbor Freight. If they cost $8, you'll use them for 10 years. Sometimes, if you have other people besides you working in the shop, you'll find the tips munged here and there. It's almost always the 1/4 inch. It's almost always the 1/4 inch that gets super munged. But transfer punches are a lesser known and fantastic tool. These are phenomenal for woodworking. Phenomenal, honestly, for any kind of making, whether you work in plastic, wood, metal, etc. Transfer punches. Thank you for that question. Alex Brumley, 1984, says, Friday will be my 5-year wedding anniversary. That's beautiful. Congratulations. Next week is my 19th wedding anniversary. I'm just incredible. Feels like 6 or 7. Alex Brumley, 1984, wants to know, what's the best relationship advice I have ever been told? There are 2 of these pieces. One comes from my parents' marriage counselor, who said to, this is back in the 60s, who said to them, you guys don't get it. You are each operating as if this is a 50-50 deal, and it's not. It's 100-100. You're either putting in 100% or you're not servicing this relationship, and you both do it. I love that. It's what do you call it? It's hyperbolic. No one's putting in 100% of themselves into a relationship, but the sentiment is really right. The sentiment is you're either fully committed or you're not. This half commit of 50-50, like I'm committing but only what I'm getting back, that's not what this is about. It's about being in. You are in. This is what's happening. So I like that frame. And then the other one comes from Jerry Seinfeld, of all people. I don't mean to sound surprised that Jerry Seinfeld would yield great relationship advice, but this one really hit me right in my solar plexus. Someone asked him a relationship advice, and he said, yeah, I got some. He said, try not to go crazy at the same time. And that is a beautiful insight into relationship advice, because when you share your life with somebody, you're sharing your life with somebody. And your life includes all the good stuff and all the bad stuff. It includes all of your highs, and it includes all of your lows. And the worst things you feel about yourself, you are also sharing those with your partner. That's not easy. And you both need a lot of room for that. And Jerry's advice of not going crazy at the same time, it's what he's doing is he's saying, you're gonna go crazy. You're gonna lose your mind here and there. And that's okay. Again, just that one sentence is so beautiful because it gives permission. He's saying, yeah, you're gonna lose it here and there. Just try not to do it at the same time so that you can properly take care of each other when one of you is losing it. I like that. It helped me the first time someone explained to me that a relationship was about sharing all the highs and the lows, that you're sharing, you're going to get angry. You're going to share all of the emotions that you experience as a person with your partners. I say that I have throuple friends now, so I don't know what relationship advice is like for throuples, but I think the same rules still apply. Respect, keeping your side of the fence clean, committing 100%, etc. Lex Luthor Jr. asks this. What do you do with old props and builds that you don't want anymore? Do you sell them? Rarely. Do you gift them or part them out? Actually, there's a 4th category, which is, do you trade them? I just made a trade for something I built a few months ago, actually a couple of years ago on the channel. But I did this build, and a friend of mine asked me if I knew any source of this kind of thing. And I was like, yeah. And he had something that I wanted. So I do a lot of trading. I love trading stuff. And I particularly love trades in which the other person feels like they got a better deal. I like that. I like being overly generous in my trades. But it's hard for me to throw stuff out that I have built. For example, I will show you my painting rack, which is long gone. I have moved my paints into a whole nother rack, but this was the piece that sat on top of my food cart, my airplane food cart. And I don't know what this is going to end up being good for, but I can't throw this out. There's just too much useful possibility in that. So it's been floating around. It's been floating around. Might be a subtitle for this shop. It's been floating around. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to support us even further, you can by becoming a tested member. Details are, of course, below, but it includes all sorts of perks, and we're building them all the time. You get advanced word and behind-the-scenes photos of some of our projects. Questions, you get to ask direct questions during my live streams, and we have some members-only videos, including the Adam real-time series of unbroken, unedited shots of me working here in the shop. They are weirdly meditative. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you on the next one.